Flavor makes your life taste disgusting. Yes, flavor. Your mind craves it, your tongue desires it, and your habits bow to it. But how many times has flavor led you astray? Just think about it for a second. That late night snack that you eat when you wanted to be healthy, or that Netflix binge when you wanted to be productive, or that sweet, comfortable couch when you said you're gonna go and hit the gym. Look, flavor seduces you with pleasure, but it rarely gives you anything in return. Look, flavor is this thing that we like in our life, but it doesn't really lead to anything. But I have an example, a story, if you will, about flavor and what it does and how you can use it. So a while ago, I went to my local Toastmasters club. If you don't know what Toastmasters is, it's a public speaking club. And there usually you have an agenda and it tells you what speech is being done at what time. At the bottom of the agenda, you have names written down. And those are the speeches for the next meeting. And when I went there the last time, I took a look and I saw my name written on the agenda, which means that the VPE has assigned a speech to me. And I was quite excited, a bit nervous, but highly motivated. And I told myself that this time I'm gonna write something special. And that, of course, meant work. It meant hours of writing drafts. It meant that I'm practicing in front of the mirror until my own reflection gets bored of seeing my face. It meant recording myself, then listening to the audio only and just watching the video, taking notes, repeating the process again and again, and then again. And you know, by the 50th round of doing this, I'm not just questioning my speech. I'm actually questioning my own life choices, my own sanity, and why I even decided to join Toastmasters in the first place. Preparation, it feels bland. It's super tedious, but it leads up to a moment that makes it all worth it. The stage, at the spotlight. The first breath that you take before you give your speech in front of an audience. And then, suddenly, bam, flavor. The words you were preparing fly out of your mouth. The audience responds, and you feel alive. All the preparation that you've done before condenses into 5 to 7 minutes of sweet, delicious reward. But without the previous preparation, the reward would just not exist. Just imagine for a second, I go upstage, but I didn't prepare for the speech at all. The speech would totally flop, and the flavor would be gone just like that. And that is what I call the flavor paradox. If you chase excitement directly, it will elude you. However, if you endure the boredom of the preparation first, this excitement takes on a whole different meaning. It's like dessert. Imagine for a second that you eat a whole bunch of candy and then afterwards you eat a slice of cake. Now, after eating all this fucking candy, this slice of cake does not taste sweet. It tastes bland, tasteless, and you probably don't even want to eat it. However, if you skip the previous candy, suddenly the same piece of cake tastes so much better. That's crazy. And that's not just my humble opinion. If you have, there is an experiment called the Stanford Marshmallow Test, in which the researchers gave a group of children a single marshmallow. They told the children that if they would be able to not eat that marshmallow, they would receive a second marshmallow as well. They noted the following: the children that were able to resist the first marshmallow had better life outcomes when they were adults. They were healthier. They had better test scores. And they had better financial security. The lesson here, I think, is very clear. If you're able to delay gratification and resist that initial flavor in life, the flavor down the line is just going to be so much greater. And of course, this doesn't just apply to speaking or to eating cake. This applies to your life as a whole. Now the question, of course, remains, okay, I get it, less flavor, more flavor down the road. But the question is, how can you apply this principle to your own life? Well, I'm not gonna tell you to go into the woods and live by yourself in the mountains with just animals, the crickets and birds in the forest. No. I'm not saying that at all. Here's a few examples how I personally like to do it, which are very easy to do and have a huge impact in your life. The first example would be at a restaurant. So when I go to a restaurant, you have all these fucking beverages to choose from. But instead of ordering a wine or a beer or some sweet ass orange juice, I like to order a simple, plain glass of water. And sure, it is less flavorful than any of the other beverages, but just by taking the water instead, I can actually taste the food. Plus, I save this fucking belly fat inducing beverage as well. The second example would be in a waiting room. Now, have you ever sit in a waiting room? Of course you have sat in a waiting room. If you're sitting there, it's pretty boring. The first inclination is, of course, to take out your phone and start scrolling on TikTok, on fucking YouTube, or the social media of your choice. Now, instead of doing that, I like to talk to people next to me. It's crazy, right? It used to be normal, but not anymore. However, I like to do that. And sure, it can be pretty fucking boring to have small talk. But what I notice is that it often leads to fascinating stories that I wouldn't have heard otherwise. Now, the third example of how you can reduce your flavor is in the kitchen. Now, imagine you're doing your regular cooking. You use the good old oil, fry it nicely, have a nice, juicy, delicious meal. But you see, when I do my chicken wings, I don't use oil. I just whack them in the oven. This way I have less flavor initially, but my health is gonna thank me so much in the future by not having those greasy ass chicken wings. You see, all these actions are the same, but they have less flavor. But paradoxically, they lead to more enjoyment in the future. Look, if I could just give you a simple piece of advice that condenses everything down, let it be this one. The spice of your life lies in the blandness of your actions. Don't chase the flavor. Chase the blandness. Because in this fucking blandness is where the true flavor remains hidden. Always remember that. And yeah, that's pretty much the whole message for today. Remember this fucking bullshit. Make sure to go down to the description and check out my newsletter. It's fantastic. It's all about making money and being a bland, fucking boring ass piece of shit. Yeah, so until next time, stay bland.